Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We have the battle for Los Angeles this Saturday as USC takes on UCLA at the Rose Bowl. And, unfortunately, this is not the top 10 showdown that we were hoping for. It looked like we were going to see a top 10 battle between USC and UCLA this Saturday, but then UCLA lost to Arizona last weekend. So instead, we're just going to have a top 20 showdown between the Trojans and the Bruins. But regardless, guys, this is still a very, very big game. USC needs this win to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. UCLA needs this win to keep their Pac-12 title hopes alive. There's still a lot at stake here on Saturday in what should be a great game between two great offenses. And we're here to break down everything you need to know and, of course, share our official prediction. So once again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. If you want guaranteed winnings right in your pocket, thegridironexpert.com is the place for you, beating out over 80% of the national analysts and handicappers each of the last 4 years, hitting 62% of our bets this year. If you want to win, this is the place. Join our GE Nation, the link down in the description below. So let's take a look at this game, guys. We mentioned two great offenses and so much at stake. And we'll start with USC here and their offense, which obviously is one of the best in the entire country. The Trojans are just electric, averaging 42.4 points per game, over 315 passing yards per game, over 180 rushing yards per game. And of course, the leader of this offense is Caleb Williams, the Oklahoma transfer quarterback. Came with Lincoln Riley, who left Oklahoma for USC. Williams has thrown for over 3,000 yards this year, 31 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. We're talking so much about these other Heisman contenders. People are talking about C.J. Stroud and Drake May and Bryce Young. No one's really paying attention to the numbers that Caleb Williams has put up at USC. The 31 touchdowns to 2 interceptions ratio is unbelievable. The rushing game is led by Travis Dye, but he is done for the year. A huge, huge loss for the Trojans. Travis Dye injuring his leg against Colorado. He had rushed for 884 yards and 9 touchdowns on the year. That's a huge blow to that run game, who has talent behind him, but not too much. The wide receiver core, though, is what's going to be the strength of this team going forward and the main focal point of the offense going forward. Guys like Jordan Addison, transferring in from Pittsburgh, has been phenomenal. Taj Washington, been phenomenal. Mario Williams, phenomenal. All these guys are huge. They are fast and huge weapons for Caleb Williams in this passing game. A passing game that's already been dominant this year, but might be more of a focal point now after Dye was injured. We take a look at UCLA. They are very dominant as well, very electric offensively, led by a veteran quarterback too, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who has thrown for over 2,300 yards, 20 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. This offense, guys, is averaging 39.5 points per game and about as balanced as you can come. 264 passing yards per game, 240 rushing yards per game. I mean, they can light it up either way. DTR is phenomenal through the air, has drastically improved as a passer every single year of his career at UCLA. Can run the ball as well. The run game is dominant with Zach Charbonnet, who has over 1,100 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns on the year. Last week against Arizona, it's a shocker they lost, not just because it was a major upset, but the Bruins had 245 passing yards, 220 rushing yards, and still found a way to lose to the Wildcats. They were balanced against the Wildcats and still lost. They are going to need that balance, though, again, on Saturday to beat USC. And take a look at the defense, guys. Neither defense is that great. So we've always said, this is going to be a fun offensive shootout. I would be shocked if either team was held outside of the 30 mark and maybe even the 40 mark because these offenses are going to light up and the defenses are going to struggle to stop them. The USC defense, guys, has been abysmal this year. They've been bad. They're only allowing 24.4 points per game, and you look at that and you go, that's not bad at all. But they are giving up over 250 passing yards per game and over 140 rushing yards per game. And you look at the numbers in their recent games, guys. 469 yards to California. 543 yards to Arizona. 562 yards to Utah, the only loss on USC's record right now coming to the Utes. They're giving up a lot of yards, and they lost to Utah. They only beat Arizona by 8. They only beat California by 6. So some inferior opponents, without maybe the exception of Utah, that are hanging with USC because the Trojans' defense is so bad. The Trojans can score on anybody. The defense is struggling to stop. But ultimately, what the case has been so far this year is USC can put up the points, is that if the defense can come through with 1 or 2 turnovers or 1 or 2 stops, they'll be fine, because once that offense gets up by double digits, it's very hard to come back. The Trojans guys, again, do have 32 sacks and 15 interceptions, so they do a great job of pressuring the quarterback. They do a great job of creating turnovers. UCLA, on the other hand, guys, they are, right around the same mark as USC, giving up 26.4 points per game, so a 2-point difference there, giving up over 250 passing yards per game, about a 2-yard difference there, and 124 rushing yards per game. So slightly better against the run, UCLA is, than USC. You take a look at the numbers, though. The passing game, the defense, especially the passing defense, is what UCLA has to work on. 312 passing yards were allowed last week to Arizona. They gave up 283 passing yards to Oregon in their other loss this year. They also gave 262 rushing yards to the Ducks, but I don't expect USC to have such a dominant day on the ground this Saturday. I just don't think that's going to happen. UCLA has to hone in on the pass. They have to find a way to get after Caleb Williams, to slow down that passing game, to slow down those receivers, and try to make this USC offense one-dimensional. We've been saying that. If UCLA becomes one-dimensional, they're in trouble. If USC becomes one-dimensional, they're in trouble. And that's what each defense needs to try to do here, is to take away a strength. And we know that if UCLA can stop the pass, they're looking pretty good. I don't have faith in USC to win the game on the ground. USC, they've got to find a way to stop it. If I'm USC, I'm trying to stop the run game more than anything else, because Zach Charbonnet is an absolute beast. Those are the keys for those two defenses, guys. Make them one-dimensional, and UCLA has a bit of an easier task in doing that, considering the loss of Travis Dye, how big that is for USC, and how they can maybe limit that run game that was good, but might be a little bit worse now without the leading rusher, especially on 1 week's notice. So what's going to happen, guys? The battle for LA. The battle for LA between between USC and UCLA. A game that's going to feature, to me, no defense, and a game that really doesn't have much of a home field advantage. Yes, the game is at UCLA, but there won't be that much of a home field advantage for UCLA. The Bruins rarely even have that. I will sit here and tell you this, though, guys, that I do think that UCLA, despite the loss to Arizona, might be the toughest test that USC has faced this year. Yes, USC lost to Utah in Salt Lake City. That was a tough test, and they fell. Other games, not so much, though. Oregon State, good team. But I wouldn't say that's one of the toughest tests. They only beat California by 6. They only beat Arizona by 8. And some will say, well, at least USC was able to beat Arizona. UCLA couldn't even do that. True. But we said all the way back in the preseason, we said that if any team wants to beat USC, you better make sure you have an offense that can match them step for step. One of the most electric offenses in the country. You better make sure you have either a dang good defense that's going to shut down that offense completely, and if you don't have that, you better make sure you have an offense that can match them step for step. Every touchdown for touchdown, field goal for field goal. Who could that be? And we said that was UCLA. I have a lot of faith in this UCLA offense. I know they didn't look good last week, only 28 points, but they were balanced. And I think Chip Kelly's going to have this team ready to go. No Arizona hangover. They know that they have to win this game to keep their Pac-12 title hopes alive. There's still a lot left to play for the Bruins, certainly a lot left to play for the Trojans. But ultimately, guys, I think UCLA comes away with a victory here. I think USC has been a little bit overrated for the majority of the year. I think it's going to be a tough test against a good offense that actually can match them in this porous defense. I think UCLA takes advantage of it. They come out angry. They want to get a win over their rival just like they did last year, and they do it. And in doing so, guys, UCLA will beat USC and will ruin the Pac-12's playoff hopes. USC is the Pac-12's last hope to get a team into the playoff, and if they fall Saturday, the Pac-12 will not be getting a team in. I think that's exactly what is going to happen on Saturday night. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Sign up today for guaranteed winnings right in your pocket. Become a part of our GE Nation. Again, the link down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.